The song.
Hello, I'm Cade, and welcome to a very special episode of Double Feature Movie Club. We are talking about what some people have called the double feature of the year, and we here have to do our due diligence and do our part as the Double Feature Movie Club,
the Double Feature Movie Club,
and really talk about what we think, and really be tapped into the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Instead of doing our 10-year-old movies that we typically do, it's time to be tapped into the zeitgeist.
Oh, yeah.
You big zeitgeist fans? I'm joined this week with Harrison and Diane.
That's right.
Executive producers of Zeitgeist.
Sorry.
That's right.
Probably should say what we are doing. I just used a lot of references. We are talking Barbie and Oppenheimer is what we are talking today.
What you might call Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm. Or hashtag Barbenheimer as
hashtag.
Feels like a forced meme.
So we have decorated the studio. So podcast listeners, we have decorated the studio and decorated ourselves. That's what you call it when you wear something. Yeah.
We have. We got
Dressed
pink
up.
going on here.
Yes.
Pink flamingos.
Pink
Hot tang.
microphones.
Pink microphones. Yeah. We have we've went all out, and we've also done some nods to some nods to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
To the man.
Doesn't include my pink nails.
Oh, sorry.
Or the fact that I have Ken as my watch face. I really wish you guys could see this. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Well, hold it up right directly in front of that one right there.
I can't keep it to stay on.
Okay.
This is my problem. It wants to go, but
Problem.
Well, never mind. I don't think that's gonna work.
Problem.
So
it's for my personal benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to do things. Come up with a character scheme of your own, even though it might not make it into the film. It affects the way that you walk, the way that you talk, and the way that you move in the scene. It's an acting tool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
This just makes me feel good to see his abs on my watch.
Oh, okay. Or that. That's another way of putting it. So we little background. We all went to see Oppenheimer over the weekend separately. Mm-hmm. 3 separate people going to say, a ticket to Oppenheimer, please. That's what we said. And
I said 2 tickets to Oppenheimer.
You said 2?
Yeah.
He said 2 tickets to Oppenheimer.
Except it was online, and I bought tickets without having to obnoxiously hold my hand up and say, waiter, can you please pass me 2 tickets to Oppenheimer?
I say it as I'm ordering it online.
I use the app on my phone.
You don't just tell your butler to get you tickets.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I
Well,
use the app on my phone.
Interesting.
And then I put my boarding pass on my watch.
Well, is it called 2 tickets, please?
No. It's
Called 1 ticket, please?
1 ticket with a large popcorn and a small Coke.
So when you went into the theater,
Yes.
you showed them your watch. Both times?
Yes. I just showed
Interesting.
my watch. Has a little reader thing that they use.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really, it was just Ryan Gosling on. Showing Ryan Gosling off got her into the movies.
And they're like, right away.
Right this way.
You have Ryan Gosling on your watch face. Absolutely. You belong in here. Let us
Look at
give you
those
good
abs. Oh, just come on in.
Yeah.
And Greta says they're real. Okay.
Okay.
Did you see the sucker they kicked out for Diane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we all saw Oppenheimer separately.
Yes.
3 tickets, please.
Yeah.
4 tickets, please.
Did
One
you guys-
individual tickets and then 2 tickets, please.
Did you guys see it in IMAX?
Yes.
This is important to note.
Okay.
This is yes. This is important to note the format in which we have seen Oppenheimer because cinephiles will berate you.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you see the movie?
In the most bare bones IMAX experience possible.
Okay. How'd you see Oppenheimer?
I saw it in the Dolby.
Dolby. Okay. I saw it in 70 millimeter.
Did your butler drive you?
So I saw it in 70 millimeter.
Did Christopher Nolan give you a private screening?
So I went to the only theater in the state that was showing it in 70 millimeter.
Really, it's the only theater in the state.
it's weird. So the AMC in Oklahoma City.
I understand it's in a mall.
It's inside of a mall. I don't know why it gets special screenings, but it does. And in this case, they brought out the old film projector, set it all up. Interesting note here. So I also had tickets down in Dallas to the one that was IMAX 70 millimeter. Did not go down because it really would have been too much probably to have done that whole trip just for that.
I don't know. I've driven down and back.
Okay.
In a 24-hour time frame. It's doable.
It's doable. But it was also, but anyway, so I weighed the options of 70 millimeter or IMAX 70 millimeter. And I think I made the right choice for just my timeline and day and everything.
Your own selfish reasons.
For my own selfish reasons. But no, what was the point of that story? The point of that story was I got an email that was like, show up on time, because even though I canceled my thing, I still got all the updates for this because they were really pushing this IMAX screening, 70 millimeter, and they were like, show up on time. We're not showing any trailers there because they don't have it. I guess so they don't have the trailers on films and everything and film reels, and that'd be too difficult for them because this plate is. The plate's not 11 miles, but the film is 11 miles.
11 miles.
Yeah, and they had to do these extenders to show the reel. And
so did you have trailers in your IMAX experience?
Oh, yes.
Oh, there you go.
That question's answered.
Yes, Diane wondered if they showed
it.
Asked and answered. So, but I'll tell you, at the one I saw, they set up. They showed it. All the previews were in digital, and then they were like, and then it stopped, hard stop, and then now enjoy the show, and then it just pitch black for 2 minutes as I'm assuming someone's out there trying to manually switch everything
Roll
over.
the film.
Yeah, and everyone's like, wow, it's taking so long, and it's like, guys,
it's some teenage kid up there by himself. Yeah,
and I'll tell you. Not to be this way, it was an amazing experience. Seeing it on film was pretty great, and it was real, and there was crackles and everything. It was cool.
Cool.
Yep. So
glad you got to experience.
Yeah.
That.
No.
Very meaningful.
Very meaningful. Yes, it was. Yes, and then to clue the audience in, we just got back from Barbie, the three of us.
We did. Hey, wait. What? Going back to your Oppenheimer experience.
Yes.
Were there people there to see both Oppenheimer and Barbie
at the theater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see people dressed up?
Not in the Oppenheimer showing. I think they were kind of spacing it out over 2 days like most people. Because Oppenheimer's a 3-hour-long movie.
It's a long movie.
Yeah. Well, I must say, I saw people. I saw couples. One was Barbie, one was Oppenheimer. It was a whole thing.
That kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And it was
how convenient.
Yeah.
And so the one.
Were you just looking at the hashtag Barbenheimer? Were you just looking at photos of that hashtag?
No, there were lots of people that were coming in and out that were. I mean, I'll tell you, I've been to obviously a lot of movies.
Did you dress up as Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I didn't dress up for Oppenheimer. I wore pitch black. I wore all black to Oppenheimer.
No, that's good.
And then I wore pink to Barbie.
Okay.
What about your date?
No, but the situation is the people in front of me. Fun fact: they were a couple that went to both things, and they showed up a half hour into Oppenheimer.
Are you sure they were a couple?
Well, they came in together.
Yeah. Pick holes in my story.
So they
Did they leave a couple, or did you kind of get?
They
in between,
they were. She wasn't filling the movie, as you can imagine.
No.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Sad. Yeah, it's a sad situation.
She might have been a standard Barbie.
Yeah. Or what would they call it? A
stereotypical Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Stereotypical Barbie. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well,
really my favorite Barbie.
I bet.
So yeah, but yeah, I must say a lot of people were dressed up, like that, more so than I've seen for anything. A lot of pinks.
Would you say more than Halloween?
Yeah.
You mean Halloween, the actual holiday, or the movie?
Really sticking to your guns there, huh?
Yeah. Well, he was at a mall.
Yeah. True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know. Before we, I guess, jump in here, we all saw Barbie together. We all had a fun time.
We
all
saw
Barbied it up. And now we're here
in a packed theater.
It was a packed theater.
Really
We're
packed.
kenning it up now.
So the guy next to you, Diane, what was his whole deal?
I think I'm not sure exactly if he was like toking on something or that was oxygen.
Oh.
Not sure what he had a tube that he would stick in his mouth every now and
You
then.
should have asked him.
I really wanted to.
Yeah.
But he truly enjoyed the movie. He did say that.
Yeah, you had a whole conversation afterwards.
He had a glitter T-shirt on. It was kind of an interesting guy.
It was an interesting guy.
Yeah,
You should have got his
he
number.
was. No, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
He had on a glittery, T-shirt and a stocking cap, and he was toking on something during the movie. I did want to know about that, but
Next time,
Pass it here.
ask someone's number on behalf of Diane.
no, it's not. I have been there, done that. Don't want to ever live it again. Short story.
Just go ahead, Diane.
My birthday.
We could be here all evening.
My birthday is on.
Diane's story. We go.
Diane's story. My birthday's on.
Put your feet up, everybody. Get comfy.
It's short.
I like this story. I think I know where this is. Is it the bathroom?
No, my birthday is on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Right, everybody knows that. So it's always a great time to go out to a bar.
business card?
So
It's a good story. It's a good story. Yeah.
Back in the day, my birthday was on a Friday night, and everybody goes, "Oh, let's go to happy hour." So we all go to happy hour, and one of the guys that I worked with picked up my business cards off my desk, took them to the happy hour, and handed them out. I got calls for weeks.
Isn't that awful?
Weeks, you say.
Weeks. People calling me.
It's awful, right?
I was so good.
I mean, after a couple of days, it's because you're answering the phone still and you're like having good conversations with them.
It was my work phone number.
Yeah, well.
It was before the days of cell phone. So I
Why-
had to answer the phone and be like, "Are you dying to?" Yes. Yeah. What
You
can I
don't
do for you?"
have to answer the phone when you're at work.
Yeah, I guess you're right there. You don't.
So situation there. So they gave the business cards out,
Yes, hand out my business cards.
and
I have no idea what they said to these men.
Okay, you don't know what they said. That was kind of my
No.
because
All
they
I
had a
can
call
do-
during the day.
Yeah. Yes.
Were they unemployed?
Yeah. Some of them were.
What was the conversations like?
Your friend gave me your card and told me that you might be interested in meeting up.
Oh,
No.
oh that's interesting.
No.
Did you have nice business cards, Diane?
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Describe
Because I
them.
was employed.
Describe them to me. Were they embossed?
Did they have a watermark?
They were just business cards.
Oh, okay.
Give me a break.
Oh, I like that. I like that story. Got a business card really story?
Do they have a nickname on them or just your real name?
No, just my real name. Yes.
Oh.
Title, telephone number, that kind of
We'll have a lot to talk about corporations when we get to Barbie.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, Lord help us all.
We still haven't started the Barbenheimer. This is a fun thing, right? It's a fun time to be alive. This is
I'll say. Oh boy, I am so happy I'm here.
I feel like I just spent 6 hours in a history class.
yeah.
I don't know about you two, but that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lecture,
I just wanted an excuse to wear this.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the pink scarf really says it all.
Well, what can I say?
I really do. You
It
can
all.
carry off pink. You can carry pink.
You can carry pink.
Carry it. Not many men can, but you two can.
I like that.
That's what you always wanted to hear.
I mean, I like pink. I think from this whole experience, I think that I've enjoyed pink more. Pink's
You're gonna
cool.
Keep this pink in your wardrobes.
I'm not
Every
going to
day.
burn it if that's what you're asking.
Every day. Every day.
Every day. This is it now. Okay.
If you didn't know already, I didn't tell you already, I'm walking out the door with all of this. Including this and this.
And never changing. You're just dragging all the
Ever.
equipment with you. Thanks for having me.
I'm walking down the street with an aux cable.
Yeah. Just mumbling things about
James
Oppenheimer.
Brown,
And
Yep.
Maybe singing a little James Brown.
yes. You missed that portion of the
Yeah.
thing, audience. Okay. I think that's enough of our bantership, don't you think? Or I didn't mean to do that. I did not actually. Wow, that was a weird.
I don't know what the Japanese thought about the atomic bomb, but I can tell you they didn't like it very much.
Okay.
Holy cow. Okay.
I'm having issues with my headphones. I will figure that out during the break here situation. And Harrison will explain the plot, the deep plot of Oppenheimer.
Okay.
It works right. There you go. You're good, Harrison.
So in this bombshell of a movie, J. Robert Oppenheimer, an American scientist, goes out to Cambridge and in Cambridge he doesn't have a very good time and ends up trying to poison his tutor. But somehow gets to bait and switch out to Germany. From Germany.
You could do the full plot. Scene by scene.
What can I say? I'm going to do the full plot of Oppenheimer. But essentially, he grows up to go to Berkeley, be the only one teaching quantum physics, and eventually gets to head the Manhattan Project. Just your normal career trajectory. So,
what's the Manhattan Project?
It's the atomic bomb. So he combines his two loves, J. Robert Oppenheimer does, of New Mexico and physics, and gets the U.S. government to go, hey, a bunch of scientists go out here and make a bomb. A lot of things happen involving communism and infidelity and a lot of backstabbing. But it's really like two movies in one. Parts like kind of courtroom drama and parts kind of let's blow up things.
That's very true.
I know.
Mm-hmm. That's very played it right to the facts of the situation movie. There. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a both of these movies were different than you would kind of go. I mean,
they really were.
they were very bold. They were very
imaginative.
They were very imaginative. They took what they were doing and they weren't straightforward. I think either one. I think they both took artistic choices and big swings, and I think that sort of obviously different from the catalog of the directors before that. And so yeah, this one was
real risk taking from Christopher Nolan. You never really see that with him.
I think to do a biopic and to do it to be so. I mean, I guess it makes sense for that character, but to be it's weighty. It's it makes you think about mankind and what it's capable of, and it really deals with the moral quandary right at face. So with that in mind, without going into specifics, we'll go into specifics because there's a lot. There's a 3-hour movie. We'll go into specifics of what we liked, but overall, did you like the movie? And just broad strokes, general talk.
Robert Downey Jr. Absolutely loved Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I agree. That's a specific.
Probably the best pro/antagonist I've seen in quite some time.
Okay, let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. I agree because that was the biggest surprise in the movie for me.
Yeah.
I thought the fact that going into the movie, I mean, both of these had a situation of like going into the movie is a little bit different than so. How they were marketed was, I think, different than what the actual movie was, I think, in both cases. And I think one of the biggest secrets in the marketing was how heavy Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie and what the point of that character was and what the point of the black and white sequences is. Before the movie was released, there was a lot of speculation about what the black and white sequences were and what they represented. And because there wasn't any talk about that, and then you watch the movie, and that's his perspective, and that's the whole point. He's a secondary character in the movie, and I don't know. That performance was extraordinary, I thought.
It really was. I saw an interview with him where he talked about, how his character, or the person who is a real human being, was driven by revenge.
Yeah,
that was his sole purpose was driven by revenge, and the way Nolan uses him in the movie is to advance the biography of Oppenheimer. because how he ended his career and ended his life, he needed that character that Downey played. He needed him to inform us of that.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Because overall, I mean, I think that's what surprised me the most is I was expecting to see a movie about creating the atomic bomb. And in reality, it is a biopic. It's about this man's life.
Yes.
And how he saw the world. And in some ways, I think it fell a little bit short.
Yeah.
Because the real strength of Oppenheimer, at least that's what they say, is his ability to normalize the quantum physics to the layman.
Yes.
Right? That he could envision it from all aspects, but still communicate it to regular people.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really pressed that far.
I agree. Later in the film, when you're supposed to feel the fact that he's like been out here as an advocate in the world, and like that whole thing, like that's the whole crux of the final part of the film, is that, and I'm like, oh, you didn't hit that hard enough. Like, and I think that public advocacy could have been a little bit.
I loved how contradictory it seemed. I mean, it seems contradictory just as a historical fact that the father of the atomic bomb just like hardcore went out up against the H bomb. Like it was not something you would expect from someone who just like unabashedly was unapologetic for Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So
well, I think
that's true.
His motivation, at least what I got from the film and from reading more about him, was he was going after the Nazis.
Yeah.
He was going after Hitler.
Yeah.
And that portion of the war ended before they could get the bomb finished.
Yeah.
And then it became. It was like he had lost control at that point. Now you have the U.S. government, and
It's Prometheus. It's
exactly, and you have the entire United States population who is sick of this war. Everybody has known somebody who's died from it, and they're ready for it to be over, no matter what it took. I think where the movie and the U.S. government both failed after they dropped that bomb is they never showed the United States citizens the impact of it. And they didn't do it in the movie either. So here we have these generations. I'm sitting here thinking in the theater, there's some older people, older than me, that are sitting next to me on one side and some younger people sitting on the other side. And I'm thinking, this is your opportunity to show what nuclear weapons can do. Not just the scientists who created them telling the world, don't use these. You could have shown it. I mean, they never did. I mean, even when I was in school and we were doing history and all, they never showed the impact of it.
I think that was the idea was during that speech scene was sort of was the most horrifying thing.
The only place where they really show it is his reaction to seeing the newsreels of what the devastation was.
Yeah,
and the other scientists with him. They had that one scene.
Yeah, where they're showing you.
I mean, he is brought to tears in this scene, and that's what really changes his course of advocacy against using nuclear weapons.
Also, him stepping through a charred corpse after the speech.
The speech thing was the one that was.
Yeah.
That was what he was seeing.
But I think what the difference, because I agree that I'm like, oh, I wish they would have pulled back and done something there. But when you watch the film, you understand that, like, and I know this from like a screenwriting perspective of like every single scene. I have to give Christopher Nolan props for it, is shown from either Oppenheimer's perspective or Robert Downey Jr., whatever that character's name was, perspective.
Strauss.
And they show Strauss, that's right. And the idea is like there's not a scene in the movie that's not told from either one of those people's perspectives.
True.
And that when you start that and you make it so much part of your visual language of the film that it becomes difficult. You can't break that. But he could, but then it would have to be kind of a massive sort of way.
To me, I think he could have used that scene where he was showing
the screen,
the reaction of what he was seeing on screen. You got to see the bomb blow up.
Like show the actual.
So they should have shown what was the impact of it, because we still have generations of people who have no idea. And so whenever people talk about, nuclear war now, they don't think of it in terms of it world ending because they've never seen the impact of it. So I don't know. Let me get off my soapbox now. I think he missed an opportunity in that scene.
Yeah, that's later in the film, but I think that's a good point. We have a question in here. Someone asked us, "Can I watch these movies with my grandma? She's 87. She's 87.
Yeah. Yeah.
How cool is your grandma?
Yeah.
I think they are complicated films. I don't think either one of these films are crowd pleasers. I really don't. Even though the people are running to the cinema, and even though they are, I think well acclaimed, they do kind of ask a lot of you.
It's true.
And in a way that's like, for what's considered the biggest,
Barbie more so than Oppenheimer, I would argue.
Yeah, I think you're right there. If my mom had her brains at 87, I would have taken her to see these movies. Yeah. She would have loved Oppenheimer because that is like right in her memory, range right there. If your grandmother's 87, then she was, a young mother in the early 1950s, probably. So she's going to remember these from being a kid.
Yeah.
So I think she would probably enjoy Oppenheimer quite a bit. And she'd probably enjoy Barbie too.
Yeah.
She would probably understand. Let's not talk about Barbie yet.
We'll get to that later.
I did say I was surprised by the lack of explosions.
Let's talk about the explosions. Because Diane, tell the story about the guy in your theater.
I know. Right before the movie starts, this guy in the very back, Harrison, stands up and yells, "Are we ready for some explosions?" And no one said a word. I mean, it was like
I'm really happy that nobody responded to him.
Nobody responded to him.
I wish that was the case whenever I went and saw The Phantom Menace. Yeah, it was a packed house, and somebody who was super drunk was next to me. He yelled something during the previews, and he got a reaction out of the crowd.
Oh, gosh.
So he decided to yell the same thing like 3 times in a row during the movie, and he got less and less applause every time. It made me so mad. He smelled so bad.
Oh. And nobody responded to this guy at all.
Yeah.
I think that people, it's...
Everyone was clearly ready for explosions. They didn't need someone spelling it out for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, it's difficult. It's the trailers again. Make it here's a Christopher Nolan movie, and there's the explosion. And it's like people who, of course, know the story. It's not going to be that, but I can see how someone could walk in and not know anything about it. I guess and their American history, and be like,
The Dark Knight 3.
Yeah.
Well, in the testing and leading up to when they did the big test, they did a lot of testing of explosions.
Yeah,
but nothing like that. I mean, so. They were probably. I'm hoping this guy was really disappointed. I'm thinking he probably was.
So the explosion. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about how they were like, oh, it's all. There's no CGI in Oppenheimer, which is a big plus. I mean, that's huge. And that all that was done practically. And really,
how did they explode a real nuke?
You'd have to. They have started talking about how that was. I mean, they kept the Trinity test under secret for a while of we just want to blow you away and everything, and you want you to feel it. I think to be a bait and switch of really amping up this Trinity test, and for them to do it the way. I guess we'll talk about the Trinity test.
Well, I think everybody, if you took American history at all, you know what the Trinity test is.
So this is the lead up. This is the what you would assume is, it has an interesting structure because it's kind of different than what you expect. It's sort of the midpoint almost of the movie, I would say. You'd think it's it's what it leads up to. It's what you would consider the climax, but then it ends up being a whole second half that it ends up being about. But it's all the lead up is the thrust of the story is to this Trinity test. And it was the way that it so incredibly intense.
I just kicked something.
Sorry. That's Harrison's camera. I don't think he's going to use this camera anymore.
That's okay. I'm just taking it home with me.
There you go. Add it to your list of stuff you're taking with you. Okay.
So all the lead up is to that, and it is incredibly intense and incredibly rightfully so. And I thought that was handled so well. And then when you get to there, the choice of the sound design of this movie is all very interesting, and the music and all that. We'll talk about all that. But the Trinity test in particular was, you could hear a pin drop in the audience when that happened.
Right.
And to do that, to go that route with someone, Christopher Nolan, known
We're
to be
gonna blow
bombastic.
you away.
Yeah.
With silence.
Because it was. I mean, they saw it, and then it was it seemed like 30 minutes before the sound came through, and the impact of it hit all of them.
Shockwave.
Yeah. But I think that was the success of that shot. Was we felt the shockwave of it too because of that.
It was astounding.
Silence.
Yeah. I love that the whole putting on sunscreen and the goggles and all that, and laying on mattresses. It was
The car window, it blocks UVs, man.
Yeah,
Good.
I know. I love that. Yeah. Oh, we've learned so much.
yes.
Of course, I did grow up in the era where, they had us get under our desk and put our heads, over our heads so that if there was a nuclear blast, we'd survive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to take a loyalty test?
No. No, but as we were kids, that's really in Chile. They had the American public believe that you could survive that stuff. That's why they never showed what happened in Japan.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And that's why I think it was Obama's the first president that went there to apologize.
Yes.
And everybody was up in arms about that. But how could he go do that? Well, no one ever saw the devastation of it. I was impressed with all of the unexpected cameos and supporting cast.
Oh, I agree.
Did you guys see all these people that were in this movie you weren't expecting at all?
Yes, I think that is a point. I'm trying to mess with my light back here. It's not doing it. There was a whole bunch of people. Like, I mean, that I do want to get to all of those. So Casey Affleck shows up.
Yeah.
Mr. Ghost himself.
I know, and he was like supposed to be some really bad spy guy that was going to murder everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was
Killed actual communists.
Yeah. I mean, but he is the kind of like wily, like he fits that sort of.
He did.
Yeah.
I think there was good casting.
Yeah.
For him.
I mean, all the casting was pretty extraordinary.
Jack Quaid was in it.
Jack Quaid was the guy who was behind the UV light, but
Matt Damon's acting was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean,
He did a great Matt Damon. Yeah.
I think he was he was in it. There was a lot of people that were in it a lot more than you. And then Matt Damon was really, really excellent. I thought as a supporting character.
He really did a good Matt Damon.
But you had to admit that he's charismatic as a person.
He did a great Matt Damon.
Okay. We have some questions here. Which should you see first? By Warren G. Harding asked us that.
Oh goodness,
Mr. President, Mr. President, I should not be the one telling you which you should see first. You're a very decisive man.
What would you think?
They're not, either one. I mean, they really don't go together. I hate this whole marketing thing where they have nothing. I think
Diane, stop it.
Unless you want to look at it from this perspective that you're going to learn about U.S. history from about 1920 to about 1975.
I don't think you understand the power of fan fiction, Diane.
Maybe I don't. I don't.
I mean, we watched it and we're talking about it. Oppenheimer Barbie. I think
this is the fever dream of Oppenheimer's mistress. Is the entire Barbie
that what
movie?
it is?
Yeah.
So I must say, every we'll have to go. I want to go through all these, so let's not.
Sorry.
But I guess I do. I want to go. I think that's excellent. There's so many great things. But
see Oppenheimer first.
Yeah, I think so. Barbie was not the palate cleanser I thought it was going to be. So we're gonna.
Yeah, don't. I mean, they don't go together. I'm sorry. They just don't go together.
I am shocked by Barbie in a way that I was not expecting. I knew it was going to be bold.
Who asked the question?
Warren G. Harding,
Warren G. That means it's a boy.
Mr. President.
Don't ever see Barbie. It will freak you out. If you're a boy, don't go see that. Just see Oppenheimer, and that way you won't be like tortured as these two are right now. They're very triggered.
I'm not tortured.
You were singing James Brown.
That was
Tom Tom Club.
No, yeah, Tom Tom Club.
Okay.
Sam Carrico of the Film Fan Club, who has been on the show quite a bit, says
love his podcast.
Love that you guys did this. I saw Barbie yesterday. Seeing Oppenheimer next weekend.
We love you, Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, Oppenheimer it is a mind blower.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to like. I mean, I was incredibly moved by the end of Oppenheimer. I thought it really showcased the weight of someone's decisions, of someone who thinks that they're doing something perhaps good or whatever in the moment, and then being confronted by the ramifications of.
It's amazing. Like all Strauss had to do was like swallow his pride, and he probably could have made Commerce Secretary. No big deal.
Yeah, that would be the
He
one.
didn't have to destroy this man's life, which had long-term impacts. The scientists, they weren't going to work with the government again.
Yeah,
this took years and decades for people to overcome because of what they did to him.
Yes. Great.
We have another good question from the audience. What's this person's name? Let's find out. James Nold asks, "Why didn't my dad live me?" Why didn't my dad live me?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Well, your dad, you're really not supposed to outlive you.
It's great.
Anyway.
Did Oppenheimer have Kinergy?
I would say it had high levels of Kinergy. In fact, possibly even nuclear levels of Kinergy. So Kinergy is actually one of the nuclear forces. It's the new physics. We haven't really taught you it yet, but you'll learn that Kinergy holds nuclei together.
That's good. So I guess we have to. What do we have to talk about here? What are they forcing us to talk about? What's the discourse about here in this? There's a lot of. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, I know what I wanted to talk about next.
Do you?
Yeah. The structure of this film, as I've always loved the structure of things, the way that the pacing that it's at it was very interesting for a biopic. I think that is one of the. It's very fast for a 3-hour movie. I think it keeps your attention incredibly well, and I'm fascinated by how I want to know what the script is like, because it either they cut out things or these scenes are like every scene's like 2 minutes long. They're very quick, and everyone talks very they get all of their point of views out real quick, and I find that very, very fascinating. I don't know if we have any thoughts about that, but I thought it was certainly interesting.
It held your attention.
It did.
You couldn't. I didn't fall asleep. So
yeah,
because of that pace that it took.
And I think it moved somewhat linear. I mean, to Oppenheimer's perspective.
Yeah.
But then you would have where it would kind of jump back and forth with Strauss's.
And that was very well delineated too. I mean, there at no point in the movie was I lost for how much it was presenting.
Yeah. Say something else, Harrison.
I'm told I should say something else. Well, here I am talking about
I've been
Oppenheimer.
told to wait. So.
Oppenheimer's a good movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan has a very good directing record, so I hear.
Yeah. Let's run through the cast. So, okay, do you want to talk about Emily Blunt?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Emily Blunt. Let me see. Give me the female character that plays the wife that's actually a biologist and a botanist who has been cornholed into being a wife, even though she doesn't want to be a wife, and is a horrible mother. The baby cries all the time.
Alcoholic.
Did that pretty much, alcoholic, as a result of being, treated this way. But
I kind of got the decision when the crying baby, and she's like, I just can't do this. I'm right there with you, lady.
Yeah.
So I thought she was a.
They actually did give up their kids.
Normal human being.
For periods of time.
Yeah.
Because she
I find that odd if you made that up.
Nope. Actually did.
Okay. I'm glad that, yeah.
I love the fact that she was the one with the balls in the family, though. When they were going through the, let's see, it wasn't a trial, it was an investigation. That was it. When they were
She's
away
just
a
throwing
security
things
clearance.
against the wall and like saying, be a man, screaming at him. And yeah.
No, I was referring to the investigation part. Maybe you missed that part where they kept saying it's not a trial.
I didn't
They were
miss that
taking
part.
away his security clearance.
I didn't miss that
and
part.
she's the only one who stood up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Not
That cross examination, like, so you have a card, you send money into the Communist Party, you presumably get a card, right? And she's just like not taking a single lick of it. I mean, it's a pretty common thing for prosecutors to do, to like just like ask really banal questions, and she was having none of it. It was fantastic because when you ask those banal questions and you get someone to start agreeing with you, get them on your side, like unintentional. Well, they don't think it's intentional, but you know it's intentional. So yeah, no, she saw right through that trick and just like decimated him.
And I think that is a framing device where they're able to like have people come in that are characters and talk about this person, and then like that was a really good, easy. I mean, it was a complicated. Like I imagine scripting this was a nightmare, but like it just makes sense when you're watching it. Like I think that it tells that story really well, and it makes those characters like. I feel like you gotta understand every character's perspective incredibly well, and this is a huge cast. And they all had scenes. They all had really like, here's your scene. Like even by the end, like, why is Rami Malek in this? And then you're like, oh, okay, there he is.
He's going to get an Academy Award nomination too.
Yeah, he had the big reveal.
Yeah, because he's just like a side character in someone else's thing, and you're like, why did you cast Rami Malek in that? And that just repeatedly, like, there's somebody come up and you'd be like, why is this person? And then it's like, okay, there's their scene where they get to show that off,
like Jeff Goldblum in Asteroid City.
And I didn't see that one.
Good one.
And as they go through the process, the part where Strauss is going through his nomination hearing, that's after McCarthyism has started. So that changes the entire complexion of whether you are part of the Communist Party or not.
Yeah,
because I think something that Christopher Nolan tried to do, and I think it kind of came across before the war, whenever the Communist Party had taken over in Russia, it wasn't a bad thing. People were kind of for that because they got rid of their monarchy, and there was going to be the government by the people, for the people, and there was a lot of propaganda that came out of the USSR related to communism that was untrue. And it wasn't until after the war that they found out that Stalin had killed 20 million of his own people, and that this was really a bad thing. Well, all these people like Oppenheimer and others who were sympathetic to the communist cause in the 1920s and 30s, then they were railroaded in the 50s as a result.
Saying that you were a socialist then is like, no big deal in academia or like in most, I don't know, American life.
Well, a lot of what they said, a lot of artists, a lot of the cool crowd were commies or socialists, they would show up to these parties and everything. I mean, like it was a nice hangout space, and I don't know. I mean, it's we can dig into all of that if we want to, but it's
kind of like being super into eugenics and like the turn of the century.
Yeah, true.
We have Florence Pugh in this movie, in interesting scenes. His affair that he had, I already see the think pieces about that appearing everywhere, about people wanting to say that, and I'll tell you in the theater, that was ones that people were not all that enjoying all that much. And I don't know how you want to.
What's wrong with people is my question.
That I find that all to be very interesting.
I didn't get that at all. Really?
There was two men in front of me. They were like, ugh. Throw their hands up whenever I guess when she was
it
nude.
too woke?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was the fact that I think.
Oh Lordy, the inner experiences of somebody is like playing out on the screen, where you have to relive some kind of terrible affair experience in your life because, well, you're getting interrogated about it. And so it's almost like reliving it. And oh, look, there's my husband naked with another woman.
I think some people even like beforehand were like, oh, what this is rated R. I was going to take my kid to this, and it's like
To Oppenheimer?
to Oppenheimer. Yes.
What?
The new Christopher. The fact that it has nudity in it. It's the first time Christopher Nolan's done a sex scene. That's for some reason headlines, and we're going to break that apart instead of writing about what nuclear weapons and its use.
What's wrong with you people?
I gotta agree with Harrison on that.
It's just like
what is wrong with people?
It's so blasé. Like,
and
welcome to American life in the 1950s. Like, everybody has fucking skeletons in their closet. Go, big deal. But scientists lead complicated lives. Humans are adults.
Yeah. I agree, and I think it's a whole odd situation of like, the fact that I've seen more articles about
grow up
about that, and but her character was an interesting character, to say the least. I thought that what they decide to show everything of this man, and I thought that was a good choice.
I think so too.
Different facets.
Yeah, because he was a human being.
Yeah.
I get so tired of people. They're trying to halo people.
Right.
And of course, if you say this human being had flaws or had fallacies or had issues, then you're being woke. I don't know. Why would people have a problem with that?
Her character was so well done too. She had a lot of mental issues going on. It was obvious from the start. The whole like screaming at him for getting her flowers, but still calling him, going and meeting him at a hotel room, and then all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to growing up and figuring out who you are.
And he cared
or not, and killing yourself.
Yeah. No, to me, I guess we'll jump ahead to perhaps spoilers, but more than the scene that jumps out to me. So this had never been talked about. I never knew this was in the film. I thought that, but my God, that scene with Harry Truman, where Gary Oldman
was glorious.
Gary Oldman, man. Did he bring it or what?
Oh my God.
You give that guy he had 5 minutes on screen.
It just was like the most unhinged, like, just warmongering, like, dick of a human being, but just really great acting.
Excellent. And that, wow. I love Gary Oldman. He's obviously one of the greatest actors, I would say, of all time. And this is just another. Just give him a role where he can chew the scenery but also play it understated because he's playing Harry Truman.
Just the way he says the word Nagasaki. Like, it's just such. It was dripping with condescension. I loved it.
Yeah. The fact that he was, it just so much. There's people out there that are Truman fans, and it's this is not their movie. Gotta say that. He is comes off as.
I didn't know they might really like that part of who he is. I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know because it is.
Hey, any Truman fans out there?
I think.
What up?
Yeah, what up?
Alumni of Truman State University right here. I'm not making that up.
My mom's generation would say, well, he ended the war.
Kirksville, Missouri.
He ended the war,
Yeah. I think, and that was his perspective too. That was they show all perspectives and they don't like sit there and like you can see the perspectives of different things, and you can understand how people were pushed to make this horrible moral quandary, and that there are no good answers. It's all
there's
awful.
No doubt. And like the conference rooms where everyone was, deciding the fate of the world, it's really quite remarkable, especially the conference room for the security clearance for Oppenheimer. It's just this it's like half of a schoolroom. Right. It's the most uncomfortable little looking place ever. Just pure bureaucracy. So,
and here it is just ruining this guy's reputation and
career.
Yeah, and it's just in this tiny little closet.
Yeah.
You're right here, son. I think that was a perfect visual perspective of what bureaucracy can do. And what it looks like.
I really, really enjoyed it. There were so many lifelike and realistic elements to this movie. It was just, it floored me at how many things Christopher Nolan got right. And I would love for, some historian to analyze and pick out all of the little qualms that they have with it, because I did not see it. I thought the movie was great. For 3 hours, I was entertained, and yeah.
There's just so many just great. The amount of threads that had to be tied and had to be connected and had to be like, here's this person, and then you're not realizing sort of the beginning where they're at in the arcs, and then by the time you're revealed in this, like I think of Einstein in this movie is excellent. Like the use of Einstein repeatedly. Just
extraordinary.
Yeah.
People are going to be, having dinner for you, patting you on the back. Just like, it was a masterful monologue.
Yes. Yeah. And that's not, and then that repeats back to the very first scene of whenever they meet, like he's sort of thinking that Einstein's past his time, and all that. It's all, that was brilliant. And
Strauss's egotism, thinking, "Oh, they were talking about me."
Yeah, that's the
entire time.
I loved how his aide nailed him at the end with that.
Yeah, it was just glorious.
The black and white scenes in front of Congress during the confirmation hearings was so reminiscent of the McCarthy era. Any news clip you ever saw, that's exactly what it looked like. And I love that he used the black and white to do that.
Yeah, and it was specially made IMAX film that he had to get. They had to produce for the very first time this type of film.
Wow.
Just those black and white scenes. And that just looked. It just looked cool. Like it just really had this really great look. I just think of that scene where, so he's wearing. I loved the way Robert Downey Jr. looked in this movie. I just couldn't get just something about it just looks so cool. And when he's coming in from some sort of dinner, Washington
dinner.
He's
the swankiest former shoe salesman.
He's a lowly shoe salesman.
No, just a shoe salesman.
Yeah, that was the first interaction that was like, oh, there it went. That's the start of the whole situation there. But they're going to the
boys.
He really pulled off the quiet too, as well. You could just see in his eyes where he was going.
Yes.
In every scene he was in, it was like he was so fully immersed in that character.
It's completely different than what we've seen him do ever.
Yeah.
And it is a role in which he's dripping with spite of just wanting to be something. Yeah.
Wanting to be something he's not.
Exactly. More
knowing he's not a genius.
Yeah.
And the way he just faces the reality of a situation before he goes out into the press, I was very impressed with that. It demonstrates a maturity out of a character who is just totally flawed, totally just vindictive and spiteful and awful, and everything's catching up to him in that moment. But yeah, he's still accepting the reality of it. He's not escaping from it. It's kind of impressive.
So is there any other major notes that you have in your thing? I have Trinity test. We talked about the Trinity test. It was excellent. I mean, that is the lead up of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I thought the music was extraordinary and how it was.
The sound design throughout the entire movie is just incredible.
Yes.
The only downside I think it had was in those rapid fire dialogues. There are certain times whenever it was muddy. You couldn't hear what they were talking about.
That's a Christopher Nolan thing. If he's but I thought it was. I'll tell you, one of the odd situations that I think about too often in films is how directors have their actors have ways of speaking. And I don't know how they do that. Like you talk about Wes Anderson, does he direct them to speak in that way, or is just everyone do it and they know it in Wes Anderson? But in this movie, everyone's talking with the weight of the world behind every sentence that they say, and they're all speaking like this with every single thing that they talk about, and it's never once do we break this. This is the tone in which everything is said.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I mean,
I am death, the destroyer of worlds. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yep. Every delivery is like that.
But I mean, it's a mesmerizing film, and even though it's 3 hours, it doesn't feel it. I think there's a lot of talk online about films are becoming too long, and I think this is one that warrants its run time.
It does.
Whereas I've seen several other films that could use. I mean, we've seen it on this podcast before with this, like, it could be better by cutting out some.
Yeah. This could have easily been 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have. But he was a complicated guy, and it's the story of his life.
Yep.
And good, bad, or indifferent, it's the story of his life. And I'm so glad that we have this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Because we would have never known about him. Not to that extent. Yeah.
And I thought, I guess we never had said, Cillian Murphy, his performance, I think, extraordinary. I think it's he's able to nail so many different aspects of that character. And
all of his bug-eyed quirkiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else? Was there any other people you wanted to shout out in the cast? The cast was just brilliant. I thought that they all did a really excellent job. But to me, my goodness, if I personally think you could nominate Gary Oldman for Best Supporting for the shortest runtime of ever. But my goodness, that whole thing is they're not gonna remember the person who created the bomb. They're gonna remember who dropped it.
Yeah.
And get that crybaby out of the Oval Office. It's like, Jesus. I mean, that sticks with you. Matthew Modine was great.
True.
Looking at the thing.
Tony Goldman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the guy who played Roger Robb, Jason Clarke.
Oh,
one of the great character actors
Mm-hmm.
of our time, and he just nailed that.
Oh, yes, he did. He relished grilling him.
He was intense, wasn't he?
He was. The fact that tape, like, it was so small that they couldn't do a table, like they had to do this T-shape table just to fit everybody in there, right? And it's all kind of awkward, and I found that to be really, really cool. Well, I think that's Oppenheimer. I guess we'll say, I guess we'll tell people, would we recommend it? And we're not going to do the rating thing. I guess you can rate it if you want to.
Okay.
But would you recommend it? And I don't know, any last words, highlights? Harrison, we'll start with you.
I give Oppenheimer 3 dirty bombs.
Okay.
Ooh, dirty bombs, too.
3.5 dirty bombs. Honestly, it was one of the better movie experiences I've remembered in quite some time. Amazing sound design, even if the dialogue's a little muddy at times. The movie, it's masterful. I will give it, its due. It is fantastic.
I guess we'll go down the line. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this movie. I think it's quite possibly the best film I've seen this year. I think it is extraordinary from a technical standpoint, from a screenwriting standpoint. Like, there are some things that's like, oh, I wish the second half could have hit some things a little harder. But at the end of the day, I thought it really represented the weight of the personal decisions of this man, and extraordinarily. And it's just a great snapshot of this complicated figure, of our views of this guy, so one specific thing I didn't highlight is how it deals with science. This is a very specific type of film that I love, and I've always wanted to see more of, is that scientific teams coming together to create something for in
the benefit of humanity.
Yeah. And I thought that was extremely interesting, and sort of the juxtaposition of a military group versus with the scientists, and how they viewed everything was really interesting. Mm-hmm. How they were like, after when the bombs went off and they're all celebrating, and then the scientists are like, well, oh my God, what have we?
Not really. Yeah. What have we done?
Yeah. That was just incredibly interesting. And then just, the the fact they're in the middle of New Mexico. Just visually, it's just this movie's amazing, and I think you should go out and see it on the biggest screen possible. And I highly recommend it. Diane,
We're looking at a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah,
definitely, and go see this movie because of that. If for any other reason, because you really want to know what people are talking about.
That end of the movie, I mean, it hits you in a way that and just, I mean, I think Christopher Nolan does endings incredibly well. I think that's what he's sort of known for, and then this is one of his most soul crushing and but also, you know, weighty, and you know, it leaves you with a lot of thought, and it's a movie that doesn't paint it with like, this isn't a black and white picture, you know. It's like it's complicated. This man's complicated, his place in the world's complicated, and I thought that was well done. And
Definitely go see it.
Go see it.
Picture, it's going to get a nom.
Yes, and now we're going to head into what was supposed to be the lighter movie. I think that's our second half of Barbenheimer is Barbie. So we'll head into a short little intermission break, and then we'll be back. Diane will tell us the plot of Barbie.
Oh God, help me.
After the short intermission.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's intermission time. All these delicious treats are waiting for you at the refreshment stand. Delicious fresh popcorn, ice-cold cola, and candy you know and love. They're all ready for you now, so you won't have to miss any of the feature. Come and get them.
And now, on with the show.
And seemingly okay.
Sorry, the sound wasn't on. Diane, go ahead.
He's got this weird light. He's freaking me out a little bit over here. So Barbie is having the time of her life in the colorful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. Ken, maybe not so much, but he's along for the ride. However, when they get a chance to go off into the real world, they'll soon discover the joys and perils of living among humans. And that's where our movie really begins. Lots of Barbies in this movie. I think every Barbie that was ever mass-produced, and some that were produced and then discontinued, were in this movie. And I didn't realize there were so many Kens. You know, I love the fact that Ryan Gosling literally put himself totally into this movie. I never saw him for any time back out of it. I mean, he was in it 100% of the time. Okay, so with that, let's talk about it. My first question for you guys was Margot Robbie absolutely the perfect Barbie?
She always has been.
Yes.
Yeah. No, her performance was really great.
Are you on?
Her performance was really great.
Sorry to say, I didn't hear that in my ears.
I just mumbled. I just mouthed the words. Yes. This was an interesting film. Greta Gerwig directed it, and you can tell her fingerprints all over it. It's her film. I mean, it was a very unique voice and funny.
Very funny. It had Kate McKinnon in it, which she brought the humor.
Mm-hmm. She's weird Barbie.
She's weird Barbie. She's the Barbie of what my Barbie doll looked like whenever I got through playing with her, where, her hair was cut weird and all that kind of stuff. And then
always doing the splits.
I know. It's because most of the time that's what you did to him, Mm-hmm. And then Michael Cera.
Michael Cera, yeah.
Cera, is that how you say his name? He just stole that from me. Yeah. I just loved his character. Alan, was that his name?
Yeah, Alan.
He really was never part of the Mattel, doll distribution, right?
He's Ken's friend.
He's just Ken's friend. Yeah.
That was Alan.
I wonder how many Allens ever sold like maybe a handful, a few dozen.
I think I didn't realize you switched your glasses, Harrison. I'm sorry.
I know, I love that. He's got his Barbie glasses on now.
Mm-hmm. And you switched the hat around too.
What can I say?
Doing wardrobe changes. I'm over here changing the light, as it really can't tell because it's blowing out anyways. But
You were freaking me out with that line.
I'm sorry.
I'm having to talk.
How
here
else are you going to do a double feature?
Exactly. Issa Rae played
the
President
president.
Barbie.
She was
Barbie
great.
as president.
I mean, this movie is bold.
Greta is always bold.
Mm-hmm. This movie is, I mean, it is, I cannot believe that Mattel signed off on so many of these things.
I cannot imagine how many boardroom meetings looked exactly like Will Ferrell's boardroom,
Exactly.
in which Greta just like walks up and is like, "Hey, our audience can handle it. They're grown-up girls now,
Yeah.
and we got to reflect the reality of everything."
This
And
is not
Barbie.
This is not a little girl movie.
Nope.
No, this is definitely an adult. That's PG-13.
I think
right?
PG-13. I
And
mean,
it probably should be.
yeah.
Should
That's
be a
right.
little older.
Mm-hmm. I think that, they don't go hard R with it or anything.
No.
So it's,
I love the Mattel sticker over the president's mouth whenever she was saying "mother."
Yeah, I did too.
yeah. The, which I don't know if that was something. I mean, did you know if you saw like even like behind, Will Ferrell plays the CEO of Mattel, for anyone who hasn't seen it. In the boardroom, there's Warner Brothers Discovery. The building behind him is Warner Brothers Discovery, which is again some sort of. I mean, like it's a very meta film, and I think that it was I enjoyed it a lot. I think that it's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot in there. I love that Barbie Land had all of the tricks. It had the dream house. It had the Corvette. It had the Jeep.
The plastic waves.
Plastic waves.
The production design of this is
had every Barbie thing you could possibly purchase
Absolutely phenomenal.
in Barbie Land. Yes, the rocket ship, the boat, everything.
Supposedly, they ran out of pink paint. Like they almost bought up all the world's supply of pink paint during this whole situation. Is what was sort of said. They did Architecture Digest did a walk through the Barbie house with Margot Robbie, like as if it was like her home, and
Amazing.
it was that whole set, that whole driveway.
Did she serve them fake tea and fake pancake or waffle and
The butter, the little drop of butter.
Just the gag of whenever she's in the real world and she spills the mineral water.
Yeah.
on herself. Just,
I don't know how to drink this.
mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that he had. I'm not a big fan of Will Ferrell when he does his stupid character stuff,
Sure.
like he did in this movie. But I love that they offset that with. Is it Ruth Busby that was in there? Plays the handler. Ray Perlman. Sorry.
Later.
Yeah, that they offset his crazy with her. Because she was the original CEO of Mattel and the designer and the creator of Barbie. And I kind of love that they had that. Those are
Talking up her
offsets.
IRS woes.
I know.
Yeah. Again, something that that just the fact that that Mattel would they're
And
they're
that they
digging,
talked about that.
yeah.
She got fired from the board over it.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, like that is all incredibly like just. I'm just incredibly shocked that they would allow the brand to do what they did with it, and I think it was smart. I think it makes Barbie modern and edgy in a way that Barbie has never been, or not have been in some time. And I think that was very. This is the best possible, I think, Barbie movie that you could probably make.
I think so too. I think they did it from Barbie's perspective, right? So from Barbie's perspective, you think about it. She's been a doctor and a president and have been to the moon. And I loved it when I listened to an interview with Greta, and she said, Barbie got to go to the moon before we were allowed to have credit cards. So, she was cutting edge feminist for us, right? So I kind of love that they did that entire thing from her perspective.
Yeah.
And then when she gets thrown in the real world, she finds out the construction crew are not women. I love that. That was the very first scene that you saw that part of it. And the same scene where Ken realizes people noticed him.
Yeah, and they
Poor
respected
Ken.
him.
Yes.
Well, she's all like, this feels very violent, undertones of violence.
He's like, I'm not feeling any violence at all.
Yeah, I just feel respected.
I'm being noticed.
I mean, well, just the experience of being a man and being a woman in public, like being noticed like that. Just how different those two experiences are.
True.
What the movie does so well, it highlights those little facets of everyday life that are truly injustices, are truly like indignities that people face. And you just don't really think about it all that much. You have to bring someone in who is like a Martian or a doll to experience what it's like to be human in those moments, to actually understand the tragic nature of these little day-to-day interactions.
From both perspectives. From both perspectives.
Yeah.
Ken's perspective and from hers.
And it was done extremely fairly and extremely well.
Yeah. And I think it never really lost its humor, it was did all of that while also being very funny and tongue in cheek and but it wasn't scared to do here's a weighty scene, and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't. I loved it. Is it Simu? Is that how you say his name?
Simu.
Yeah. I loved him in this.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't that was kind of unexpected for me. I didn't realize he was even in it. And then when he is in it, he's like the other Ken. The Ken. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many great jokes and everything. I mean, everything in call, and so that was really good. I think of how main Ken, he's his job's beach is one of my favorite recurring
jokes. It's beach. I don't know how to save anybody.
Yeah, it's not life. People think it's lifeguard. It's not lifeguard.
No,
it's beach.
There's no real water.
And when they get to the real world, he's like, I'm not going to save it. How do I get the job at beach?
I love the fact he goes into a hospital and he just wants to take out an appendix.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, no, you can't do that. He goes, well, let me talk to a doctor. And she says, I am the doctor.
Well, what if I don't have a PhD or an MBA? Can you just hire me because I'm a man? We're like, no. He's like, but what about patriarchy? He's like, we still do patriarchy, but we do it a little more subtly now.
Yeah, we're more subtle about it. Yeah. That I did read an article where the speech that America gives to free the Barbies from their mind control, that Meryl Streep said she would have liked to have been the person to give that speech. She goes,
Nice.
Oh, yeah, there's no pressure now on you, America. You can do this. Meryl Streep would like to, but you can do it.
Yeah.
It was a masterful monologue.
Yeah.
It really was.
And it was an unexpected, like that actor, I was not thinking it was going to come out of her mouth, but it did.
I was surprised that it took that turn. I really was, but then I like the way that they used it, right, to turn off the mind control.
To rally the Barbies.
Yeah, to free them from themselves. And I love the fact when it was at Ken at the end that says, I thought it was about the horses.
Oh, God, that was great.
Yeah.
I lost interest in the patriarchy after I realized it wasn't about horses.
Yeah.
Didn't you have to give Ryan Gosling? I mean, he did kind of steal part of this movie, didn't he?
No, he was really good. He was really good.
He committed.
He
went there.
Yeah, I think it was really well done. I thought it was incredibly funny and very smart and everything. At times it leans, if I have to give it a criticism, it's so nauseously millennial at times that that style of humor and how you're going to make a point that it's just like, oh boy, I can't wait for.
God, our generation is so preachy.
I mean, I consider myself to be a little bit more Gen Z, and I think that I can't wait to see what is made there. So because I do think this
I consider Gen Z to just be off-brand millennials.
Is that it?
Yeah, I just it's a little at times Lena Dunham-y and at times BuzzFeedy, and it's just like, okay.
Was there anything not true? Did you?
Where was the
that
top?
untrue?
Where was the top 10 list?
There you go.
I just that was it. Just it's like you could make that point without it being so right there. Just square on the nose.
Yeah.
Like there's a way, there's a much more precise way to do it without it being such a blunt force object.
Well, if audiences just weren't so dense, I would agree with you that would be the right way of doing it.
Yeah,
but they are that dense.
Take a shot every time patriarchy said in this movie, and you're gonna
hell yes.
end up out in the first.
That's my kind of drinking game.
And it's like there's this could be slightly more subtle and
Cheers, patriarchy. Cheers.
It's Barbie.
I know, and that's and I
You
think
expect subtle with Barbie.
I think there's I think there was a sort of way to do it, and I think like the humor works 9 times out of 10, but that 10th time, it's like. It's just and I understand some things aren't going to work and everything and some things aren't, but and I like the movie. I think it's a good movie. I think it's incredibly funny and everything. But
you know what the least realistic thing about this movie was? The fact that what was it, Crazy Barbie? Is that what they called her?
Weird Barbie?
Weird Barbie.
The fact that Weird Barbie wasn't half naked, like parts in the movie, and just like obviously like Mattel censored over her, but like that's how people played with dolls. They just sort of like, let's cut their hair and then let's like not have them wear clothes and do the splits.
And throw them in the back of the, toy chest. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the fact that they opened up the movie with, they're showing little girls playing with dolls.
Yes.
And I actually had
It's a
some
good
of
scene
those
right here,
dolls.
son.
Yeah, it was a wonderful scene. I loved it.
And the way girls were taught to play with dolls is to be mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only thing you could be was mommy. You
Yeah.
could raise this baby.
Until Barbie came around.
And then, and then Handler, who actually saw an adult doll in Germany or somewhere back in the 50s and decided, oh, you know what? We could market that here. And they sold like 500,000 in the first year.
Yeah.
Because there had never been an adult doll before. There have always been baby dolls.
Yes.
So I thought that was interesting.
And to do that all while making reference to like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I mean, like there's really it's incredibly thoughtful and like there's it's really, like I said, balancing this really like what it's saying is incredibly nuanced and incredibly like thought provoking, and what it's saying about gender is something that you could write a whole sort of essays about, because it is that thought provoking of how it's saying and what the role of Barbie is. I mean, it's like a whole essay within itself of like where it like makes the points for Barbie and against Barbie, and like it really is it's very fascinating, and but just at times it's a little too on the nose when the movie is so interesting and so like it doesn't have to rely on such simplicities.
What did you think about the Ken War?
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. The dance off was my favorite part.
Oh yeah, we're yeah.
And which boy band was Rejected Kids?
They were Allens. They were
Allens.
yeah. Michael Cera said, people. He's like, because he's trying to escape the Barbie land, and he's like, he's like, no one will notice. No one notices when Allens escape. All of what did we say? It was all of which band was it?
Was it
In Sync?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
In
In
Sync?
Sync. Yeah,
All of In Sync are
We're
Allens.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was so funny. And then I think Perlman had one of the best lines when she's talking to Barbie at the end, and she says, the idea was for you to be able to look back to where your mothers were and how far you've come. And I thought what was interesting to me was my mom, who got married in 1947, the end of World War II, and Barbie came out in 1959. Her mother was a Rosie the Riveter. And when the war was over, all the women got fired and were sent.
Well, and they're whenever they're doing the revolution, they're in pink Rosie the Riveter kind of
they
jumpsuits.
are. Yeah. So that's when they were, women were sent home to work, you couldn't work back out into the workplace. And so then comes Barbie, who says, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, now this is how far you've come from your grandmother or your mother or, whatever. So I like that reference that she made at the end.
It's an extraordinarily like touching kind of mother-child bond. Like, this is what it means to be human. And that's really what mothers do for their children, is kind of help them understand what it's like to be a human being. So just see how touching that was, and just like how emotionally intelligent the entire movie was very refreshing to me. I was like, give me some more of that preachy crap, because honestly, like, it was so entertaining and so like visually interesting that, yeah, I don't care. Throw some more ideas at me in a movie. Like, sure.
Yeah, you don't get those that type of interaction very often between mother and daughter in a movie.
Yeah.
You just don't see that very often. And I love that they brought that to the end of it. It's a very touching scene.
Yeah, like, and how vulnerable, like, Margot Robbie, she is having a banner year, by the way.
Yeah.
Not only leading this movie, but again, I'm going to go back to Asteroid City. She had one of the most scene-stealing moments I have ever like felt in a movie in Asteroid City.
Oh, I didn't know she was in Asteroid City.
That's the thing. It was the most tear-jerking moment in that entire movie. It was her scene in it.
Wow.
It was extraordinary.
I haven't seen it. It sounds wonderful, like a great movie.
Oh my goodness.
I got to see it.
Yeah, it yeah. No, I have an amazing amount of respect for her as an actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think about Helen Mirren's narration throughout it?
I kind of love that, especially when they went out of the movie completely and said, maybe you shouldn't have chosen Margot Robbie to be your Barbie if you were.
Note to the filmmakers. You're trying to make this point.
Yeah. You probably cast the wrong person for that. Yeah. Kind of love that.
Yeah. All that was, I thought she was, I love Helen Mirren, and she was really good.
Honestly, hats off to Mattel for being okay with that entire movie.
Yeah.
Really, that is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't
there were several times where you just went, there's no way they let this happen. Who slipped this in,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, like, there was just several, and they want to do a whole cinematic universe. Fun fact about Mattel, they want to do Hot Wheels. J.J. Abrams, I guess, is in talks to do Hot Wheels.
Really?
It's the new Marvel universe.
It's
The Mattel universe.
Why not?
Yeah, and I honestly think it's not a bad. I mean, if they keep, like, I kind of want them to keep this world, like, have it, like, kind of be like these are spiraling out of control and into the real world. These different things. Like, I think there's a way to sort of do that and make it.
I'm cool with that.
I think, and hopefully they still do it as like auteur, sort of like give someone who just matches perfectly for what this IP is and could kind of make it into the modern day. Because I do think that is the biggest strength, and I think focusing on a mother-daughter relationship within this movie was excellent. The way that was all handled was incredibly well handled.
Oh yeah.
And I think the criticisms of Barbie was well handled. I mean, I think that where the child was like, you're kind of this tool of consumerism and capitalism, and I think that is,
you've made us all feel terrible.
Yeah,
Nobody could possibly look like me.
Yeah,
I loved playing with Barbie. Shut up.
That's middle schoolers,
Yeah.
Middle schoolers, I can't take it.
Yeah. I thought, and so I
that
thought,
thing you thought was cool yesterday isn't cool anymore, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. And America Ferrera was incredibly good in the movie.
And the girl who played her daughter, I mean, they were you would have thought they actually were mother and daughter with the way they interacted.
Yeah.
I mean, they absolutely had that
That
kind
was
of chemistry.
very impressive chemistry, and great work casting. Everyone was perfect for their roles.
Is it John Cena?
John Cena, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His little cameo. That cracked me up.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I think it was much more. I mean, I know Greta Gerwig, and she does just excellent films, and they are very profound and deep. And I'm glad that wasn't stifled by the studio system and by Mattel in particular. I mean, like we've said, I mean, but it is I think a true feat of artistic work to get this through all the things it had to get through. And
I wonder if the drawings of impending thoughts of death Barbie, like those seem like official Mattel kind of like sheets, like I don't know, not character sheets, but like design sheets for Barbie. Like they looked official as could be.
Yeah, cellulite Barbie.
Cellulite Barbie.
What is that? Cellulite. Oh my God. No,
that banner, the like Barbie's going to the real world so she doesn't have to get cellulite.
It's like 3 lines and they're all just like chanting it,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Look at Banner, Michael, is what it from We made Banner, Michael, or whatever the line is.
My job is beach.
There's always a fine line between absurd and genius.
Yeah.
And this was genius. It definitely fell on the side of genius, I would say.
It did.
Even with Will Ferrell trying to be absurd.
Mm-hmm. I like Will Ferrell a lot. I think I know that some people
we had a female CEO in the 90s and that one other time.
Yeah.
No, his character was spot on. Perfect.
Yeah, it was. Especially when they went rollerblading through Venice. Yeah. And they're black rollerblades.
And I like that this didn't take itself like the logic seriously. Like I love that. It's just like, okay, it's gonna connect on Venice Beach. You're gonna take the tandem bike and a water ski
or a snowmobile.
We'll see you on Malibu Beach.
and the spaceship.
Yes.
Poor kid can't quite grab it. Yeah.
And then just different things, and they're like, wait, what is Barbie World? Is it an alternate reality? And they're just like, yeah.
It's where everything's perfect all the time and nothing should change ever.
And those glasses were made there, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah. The world is pink. Rosy, I guess.
Well, they do that. They put them on things so they don't see blood. Oh. That's the whole situation. Wasn't that the whole, like, when they do have like cockfights, they put they put little sunglasses on chickens.
Okay, Cade, I didn't want to know that you knew that. Holy cow!
That was I loved the cockfighting scene in Barbie. It was great, like very tastefully done. Those two, the metal talons ripping each other up.
Yeah,
just an artful scene. Good work, Greta.
Well, Diane, did you enjoy this movie? Would you recommend it, and any other notes that we haven't went through with Barbie?
I can't think of any other notes to go through. Yes, I would recommend it.
Feminism. Talk about feminism for some time.
Well, I think we covered that.
Women are all right.
Yeah. We just need to smile more. We'll be fine.
Ben Shapiro did not like this movie, by the way.
Oh, of course not. I know Ted Cruz came out against it because he has daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he certainly would not want them to feel empowered by anything. Right?
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
So you'd recommend it?
I do.
Who should go see this movie?
Everyone. I think anyone could go see this movie. I think everybody can relate to some character in there.
Yep.
So at some point in your life, you feel like you've been overlooked, like poor kid. Right?
Yeah. I thought that
you'll never be good enough, even though you've been to the moon and president and a Nobel Prize winner and a mother and not a mother and.
No matter what you do, you'll never be good enough, right? So everybody's felt that way.
I thought it did it from all angles of to show Ken in what would sort of be in other films like a villain role, like where the turn that happens.
Yeah.
And it be from a nuanced perspective where it's not he's not irredeemable, he does awful things, but it's from a very personal, broken perspective.
He doesn't even really do anything very awful.
No.
I mean, he's creating a system that's pretty awful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's turning the fascist system over on its head.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, that's the idea. The fact of the matter is that perhaps the Barbie world was also broken.
Exactly.
And so all these sort of, I think it takes a really nuanced take of the fact that we have to view someone as, some gender or whatever the group is on top and the other one's subservient and minimize it. I mean, all of that is incredibly you're in this Barbie movie, we're going to be doing this sort of compare and contrast sort of thing, and it's like
Right.
taking like a middle of ground, like a radical centrism.
You're making you think about when somebody tells you the other is bad. Were they really? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they really
there's going to be so many think pieces about this movie.
Maybe.
About what it's saying and how it is, and whether it's actually good or actually bad, and so many people, and then people are going to be like, oh, because you hate that, I love it, or because you love it, I hate it. It's going to be the whole mess.
I will
film.
fight people to the death on Malibu Beach. If
you'll
they
beach
release,
them off?
I will beach them off.
You will beach them. No, I laughed out loud at that part. I mean, I had to say that was some laugh out loud moments in the movie right there. I thought, I love you, Greta. Boy, that was great.
Straight face,
Yep. I wonder
How many scenes? Yeah, how many takes did those scenes take? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they had to take quite a few.
I'll go. I recommend this movie a lot. It's really fun. It's a really fun movie. I think it will make you think. Like, I mean, there are times in which people are like, you're watching this movie and you're like, wait, I thought I was watching a fun comedy, and now I have to like think about my role in society and what I choose to uphold, and then also what is my role in like with my mother and and everything. I mean, it makes you really think about everything. It's a very thought-provoking film, and I think there will be some people that will shut off and be like, I don't like what this film's saying, or cross my arms and be like, it's saying something. It's like, I think it's really looking at from everything from all of these sort of sides and sort of saying we've got some problems. Not going to come up with any solutions, but we got some issues here, and and
maybe if we look at it from the other perspective,
yeah,
that works out. And I think it is from all sides.
I think it
there
is
isn't just from
Yep.
the side of the girls.
Yeah, I think that they sort of show Ken.
I had such sympathy for poor Ken. I mean, bless his heart.
And here he is, like creating a revolution of patriarchy or whatever, and it's some awful
Horses.
stuff, and horses and stuff. But still, it's like you see it, and then it's very.
She asked me the time, and he has like 3 watches on.
Yeah.
So yeah, would recommend it. Go watch it in a theater. I think it's fun to watch with an audience because it's a comedy, and so hearing people laugh and hearing people and it was unique because like different people laugh at different times. I thought the range of humor was incredibly well done.
Oh, it was extraordinary.
Because like some things were thought provoking, and then it would like hit different audience members. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. I didn't laugh at that one, but I thought it was funny. But then the next one I laugh, and there's less people. I think it did a whole range of different humor, and it worked really well.
It did.
I agree.
Harrison, would you recommend this? And
I'd highly recommend this movie. This movie was honestly much more than I was expecting. I was expecting lighthearted, silly fare where nobody broke character ever, and I ended up getting like the most in-depth look at humanity, wrapped in plastic and pink and sweet, and it's like a macaron, really. It's like a macaron.
Is it really?
Where there's layers to the sweetness.
Yes.
Yes, there's depth there, and there's an art to it. Barbie is just unabashedly great. Probably the most ambitious movie and the least ambitious subject ever.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a word man right there.
Yeah, it's a word man. You're the word man.
Peace.
Well, great. We're gonna head into preview
Did
time.
you ask me?
You said
I did.
you started it.
I did?
Go ahead if you want to say.
I thought maybe I did, and I just forgot.
Would you recommend it again?
Yes, I would recommend it again. I think both these movies are very thought-provoking when you weren't expecting them to be thought-provoking. That, to me, is the unexpected take on both these movies.
I think they all zigged when you thought they would zag.
Yes.
And I think that part of it really great, marketing from both, but in a way that they were kind of deceptive, but I think in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way. I think that if it gets more people to watch them and everything, and to see what I think is honestly really good cinema through the studio system, I think it's extraordinary. I think both of them have some really interesting, thought-provoking things to say. And
we have not had that from the studio system in a while.
Yeah.
That's what's so rare. I mean, it's a shame they both came out on the same weekend and compete with each other.
I know.
because it is unusual for what we've seen coming from the studios.
And I wonder. I think Barbie probably would have. I think Oppenheimer's benefited from this sort of thing, that it is kind of an odd. But it's Christopher Nolan, but still,
That's true.
I think that it is something that would have been harder to get people in the door for. But I think that has helped it, and I think that I love. I think this also did help Barbie in the sense of, I don't think that some people would have win either. I think it has broadened.
I may well have skipped it had I not, been
True.
informed of this double feature.
That's true.
True. I agree.
And I would have been all the poorer for it.
Great. So we here at Double Feature Movie Club, I think we've done our due diligence here this year.
We have.
This is whenever everyone started being like, double feature. I'm like, oh, I guess that's our bat signal that's been lit up in the air, and we got to do our job here. Let's head into preview time.
And now, preview time. When it comes to entertainment, you can't beat a good film. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What is coming our way, Jay?
So, as we know, this is a special episode, a bonus episode of Double Feature. We are not currently in season right now, but we are. We did this for a special one-off, and I'm very happy that we did. It was a really fun time. We will come back later in the year for our next season of Double Feature. We don't know exactly the time just yet. It'll probably be abbreviated season, probably 10 episodes this time. But we're putting together a list, and it should be really interesting. I am similar to how we've done it in the past. So we watch. If you're new here, we watch movies from the past, typically from the past 10 years. We're going to eventually start to expand it and everything. And we'll put them together by directors, genres, maybe actors, just anything that sort of we can find a through line there. And if you haven't check out our past season. We just released last week our best and worst of season 3. And so that was a really fun episode that Diane.
It really was fun.
Yeah.
And once again, one of Cade's favorite movies was one of my least favorite movies. So
That's a trend.
check it out.
It's a trend.
It is a trend.
Yeah. The so that was nice. Discovering that because we didn't know what our list was.
Yeah, we don't know ahead of time.
Yeah.
So when we do get in there and we're going, this is in my top 5, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And he's doing the same to me too. So it's fun.
And there's no spoilers in that one. In our bottom. So if you just want some good recommendations or things to avoid from our perspectives, go and watch that. That was best and worst of, and it was really fun. Harrison was on quite a few times this past season too.
I was.
And made Diane miss a bullet a few times.
Yeah, what did I say?
You know, I am still singing Harrison's praises and thanking God that Harrison was here. And I wasn't.
Why don't you put a little grease in your coffee, Diane?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so glad I missed all that.
Yeah. You missed that.
And if you're new here, go watch The Greasy Strangler. And then go watch our episode about The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, so that you can experience that with us. That was
a singular experience.
I listened to the first part of it and just went, okay, I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, because I'm so glad Harrison was here and I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the conversation might have been better for if you were there, but
I don't know.
I know it's good. So we'll come back. Harrison will be back on. I appreciate you, Harrison, for doing this special episode here.
Well, Cade just broke the news that I didn't even know about, that I was going to be on his show next season. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to be here. What can I say? Brush my shoulders off.
Didn't even ask, but you're there, Harrison.
Yep, I've been voluntold.
Voluntold, I like that.
Yeah, we'll do. I mean, if you have any requests, I mean, we would love to hear them. We are on Twitter.
But if you're asking me, don't make it a request, make it an order.
Yeah.
We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. I guess we're on Threads now.
We're on Threads.
So follow us at Double Feature MC. We
TikTok.
it's under mine, but we do these little reels on Instagram, and we also put them out on my TikTok at the K Thomas. Where we do our 60-second reviews. Go back through them. Those are additional content from the podcast where we kind of give short reviews of each things that we do, and I really do enjoy those, and they're really fun. So check them out. Yeah. Well, thank you all. I don't know. We have nothing else to say. That's Barbenheimer. I think one's in the book. I'm glad that these were interesting films. I think there was a lot of commonalities, but they were very different from each other as well. And I like talking about it all with you.
Great idea, Cade.
Likewise.
Okay. Thank you. See you all later in the year for season 4 of Double Feature Movie Club.
See y'all.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.